Hey folks, Dave the Not So Evil EvilViking13 here, and welcome back to my Let's Build project in the Fallout 4 workshop here at what is actually Ten Pines Bluff. Ten Pines Bluff is where I am building my own version of a vault. It's going to be a DIA secret bunker. Now, to get things started, let's look around just for a second at what we built last time. This is the commander's quarters. Not quite the overseer. After all, this is not a vault, but a place that our secret agent slash military commander could stay back before the war. Of course, now it belongs to General Dave and the Minutemen, as all of my propaganda proudly proclaims. But we spent a lot of time on the inside of the vault last time. Well, the bunker, not the vault. So what we're going to do this time is save the main part of the first floor for next time. And I'm going to work on the disguises outside of the bunker. Let's just close the outside door here. Let's not forget, guys, that the goal of this build is to fool Joel when I give him the final tour. To do that, I'm going to want a pretty convincing series of watchtowers and shacks along this fake cliffside to really just sell the idea that this settlement is just the outside. Go into the workshop here for a second. There we go. And again, if you guys are coming into this late, all of these cliffsides are totally fake. This was supposed to be a farm here at Ten Pines Bluff. I, as usual, had other plans. Okay. Now you guys pointed out that because I actually can't enter the workshop up here because it is up in the sky, according to this original settlement location, it's going to be a lot easier to just build this tower floating thanks to the Place Everywhere mod, and then grab it all as one piece and position it where I want it up here. Okay. Let's get back up here. And let's turn off the workshop auto exit, again thanks to Place Everywhere. It basically lets me use my in-game resources, all of the steel and wood and plastic that I've gathered up, as if I were using it in the creation kit though. It kind of takes the shackles off and lets me be 100% creative with the settlement building. Okay. I think I was using under Homemaker. Ah, Pure Shacks. Okay, snapping is turned on. What I'm going to do is build a 4x4 foundation. Just lower it just a tiny bit so I can get to it. And from this 4x4 foundation, I'm going to build a watchtower that has kind of like a balcony around it. So it's going to be not 4x4, now that I'm thinking about it. It's going to be 2x2 for these big sections with a half section on each side. Man, the tough part's going to be, where can I actually build this without it sticking to stuff and still giving me room to actually build it, because there's not a lot of room here to build. My gigantic fake mountain takes up almost the whole workshop by itself. Let's see if that will give me something to work with. I'm just going to place this floating platform here so I can get over to my work in progress tower. I was looking at possibly using the barn pieces from Far Harbor. Let's look at warehouse first, though. Okay. Yeah. I think that looks too much like a warehouse. Whereas the barn, I've already used once to create my original Far Harbor watchtower, and I really liked how that looked. So I'll do a door there, a door there. I'm going to want to make sure that I have windows on all four sides. After all, this is supposed to be a watchtower. That's looking pretty good. Did I use the same piece 3 times? I most definitely did. That's going to be a pretty massive watchtower. But I'm going to have bunk beds and stuff like that in here too. And these platforms are absolutely perfect for adding the walkway around it. Gotta watch my wood usage here though. Almost down to 1,000 again. Have to go by Diamond City for some shipments. Let me address a couple of comments while I'm thinking about it. I don't have them up, so I'm going to have to go by memory here. But first of all, you guys don't have to worry. Joel is definitely not watching these videos. I was able to keep the entire castle build a complete surprise. He just does not watch my channel. I mean, that's basically it. I post tons of different content, and he generally is pretty busy. You know, he's a movie producer. He works full-time in graphic design, so he really does not watch YouTube at all unless I link him to something. So yeah, he's not watching these. It'll still be a surprise, even with my pretty obvious thumbnails. Well, I'm not able to add the roof onto this because I've reached the height limit again. Can I build the tower down there, maybe? Here we go. There's more floating space on this side of the cliff face. I'll just move it over here. This is ridiculous, guys. This is a good-sized tower, but something like this I think would do pretty well for convincing Joel that, yeah, this is totally it. There's nothing else to see here. Definitely no hidden vault. And I'm going to detail it and add, you know, some junky shacks and stuff like that along the cliffside to make it super convincing. Okay, well, I should have quick saved first because I must have collided this with something else, and now I'm grabbing the entire vault project at once. Which I still find pretty amazing that I don't crash the game when I grab basically every object that I've placed here all at the same time, including all the rocks, and move them all together. I just feel like that would be a crash-worthy action most of the time. Okay, that's okay, we can fix this. I am going to skip ahead in the video though, so you guys don't have to watch me just move this over in space. I wonder if it's these pier pieces that are causing such an issue. Let's just use the actual barn floors, and I can add the supports underneath later. I think we're getting just a little too close. So what if I do this and only have that much to build? That's it right there, guys. Okay, we have a little bit of space that I can actually detail here. So I can work in this floating bit right here. Let me drag it down. Again, just grabbing this piece. Awesome. I'm going to save there. So I will have to come back and add the supports underneath once it's actually in place up on top of the mountain. as well as just a couple of the railing pieces, but that is totally doable. I picked a really tiny settlement here, guys, to build a fake mountain onto. What was I thinking? Okay, got some barn doors here, but I think I'm going to actually put a real door on it. Are we actually missing any of the walls? No, we're not. Okay. And we actually have room to build the rooftop. Look at that. Let's go to free cam for a second. So that's the main body of our watchtower. I'm not going to add anything to the peak, because I think just the metal roof looks just fine. Let's go over here to our concrete. And I'm going to add railings to all of the sections of outer walkway that we have so far. And I can move these outside of the build area once I place them. So you can't place them right there. But if I place them over here, whoop, and then grab them, ta-da! Very happy that it still snaps even outside of the build area. It makes sense, but I am just grateful. Okay, that's railing all the way around here. Alright. That shouldn't leave too much to do for the railings once we get to that point. Oop, don't want the free cam, want collision. Let's go back up here. Alright, collision on. First things first, let's go ahead and do our check. Make sure that we're not grabbing too much again. Good, good, good. It looks like the key is to not go any further than this space right here to the rocks. They just must have a massive collision box. Now that I know that, I can work with that. What I'm going to do now is, seeing this is supposed to be a area that the Minutemen have taken over and are actually using, I'm going to patch up a lot of these big broken holes in the wall. To do that, I'm going to turn snapping off, and we're going to put a new wall section here like this. And let's see, one right here. I imagine this would still be pretty drafty, so you would not want to be up here in the winter time. Will this piece make it so that you can't walk on the outside? Oh no, that still works. That's fine. Don't want to cover up all of my watch windows though. I can see out of that corner and out of, well, that hole. Did I cover up too many windows? You guys let me know what you think. Okay, got this half piece here. I want to seal up each side of the door here, make it look good. Make it look like it's been somewhat repaired by the Minutemen. But still make it look a bit junky. I want to leave a section of window here, but I also want to cover up part of that gigantic hole that is there with it, as well as the hole over here. So let's see what I have under wood and miscellaneous. Here's the shack supports, guys, that I'm going to put underneath of the tower to make it look like it fits in. That's too big of a piece, unless I can rotate it. Snaps to door frames. That's cool. I'm going to go ahead and place it. Scoot it this way. And we will rotate on the x-axis. And that should do pretty well for covering up the gigantic hole that goes along with the window. Nice. I think it's time for a save and another check to make sure that I can still grab all of this, because what I don't want to do is spend all this time detailing and then have to move a bunch of this again. Awesome, look at that. It's all stuck together. Awesome. Oh, did not need to exit the workshop. Let's fly back up. Okay. I think there was some kind of communication something from the Northland Diggers mod. It's like a... what's the word I'm looking for? Not a storefront, but a work position, a job location. Man, what is the word I'm looking for? It's a place where my settlers can look busy, basically. I think there's one that has like a radio. Alright, let's rotate that. I'll just place it manually, because that looks pretty good. And then this one. Whoop. Absolutely love the Place Anywhere mod, or Place Everywhere mod, technically. I will actually stop working on settlement builds until updates are released if things break for it. So it really lets you just detail things and make them look really convincing. I'm going to try to change the time of day here. It's a little bit shadowy. There we go. Foggy, but a bit more light, so you guys can see what's going on. That is going to be a massive watchtower. Okay, seeing I was talking about it, let's look at Northland Diggers. Resource stations, that's the word I was looking for. Wet floor, sandbox, the Undertaker. Okay. Oh man, I'm getting low on wood, below 1,000, but the Undertaker is a perfect piece to put over here. Because I have the grave sites. So let's actually put him over here. Simply because I have used basically all the available space on that side where the graves actually are. That's fine though. I'll find a better location for that later. I just don't want to forget about it. I'll probably move these Brahmin feed troughs somewhere else and put it like right here with a little canopy over it. I feel like Joel will appreciate that, and it'll help to convince him that, well, all this cool stuff is all that's here. Oh, and for those of you guys that don't know who Joel is, he's just a friend of mine who enjoys Fallout quite a bit, but he's not really into the settlement system. So he really has not built anything of his own. I brought him along for my Fortress Sanctuary tour, and we had a lot of fun recording that video, and it kind of snowballed from there. Tax collector, Wasteland mail service. I already have one of these inside, but I feel like it would fit even better in the tower. So let me just, I'm just gonna clip through here and grab it. Let's just smash through everything here. Where is it? There you are. Smash, smash, smash. I'm going to keep using the collision toggle just to save time here. Otherwise, I'm going to be going back and forth constantly, which I've done actually for a while, just to go in and out of the vault to move things around. That fits really well, I think, the Wasteland mail service up here in the tower. Do-it-yourself ammo, a butcher, a brewmaster, a botanist. Oh, shiny things. Where did the forester one go? I think that fits super well up here too. So before I go any further with decorations, let's stop and place the beds that are going to go up here. And I'm going to use these kind of junky beds. I'm going to have one right here. And I'll move the forester station right here to make room for another junky bed. And I'm leaving them kind of off of the windows because I want to have chairs to look out the windows here. What would have actually been up here before the war? Probably just these metal chairs. I don't think stools fit in very well. Or vault chairs. Or new chairs. So yeah, let's just stick with the old style chairs. There we go. I will give him a nightstand though. Or we can just go right to the cabinets. That works pretty well. Yeah. What else might be up here? A little stove, perhaps. A little fireplace. A desk. That all makes sense. Let's add one more cabinet first. Where might a stove go, is the question. Also, what might a stove look like? Well, I do have this one new mod that I had not tried out yet. Is it under decorations? Might be under furniture. Aha, yes. Sinks and toilet stations. These are actually animated, I believe. The wood's a bit new on that one. Would not be toilets up here in the tower. Man, if that sink station only had an older style texture, that would be perfect. As it is, this wash basin might work. So a small sink and a small fireplace. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's look at the fireplaces under decorations. Oh, perfect. Where could that go? Well, where don't we have windows is the main question, because this would not be where a window would be. I'll put the sink over here in this corner. And the fireplace can go right here. Turn snapping off. So guys, this is where my OCD comes in. This fireplace obviously goes nowhere. It would not have been built like that. Fireplace with grate. I don't think they actually have full chimneys with this fireplace mod, which means I'll have to look into my decorations and see if I can find something to place for the chimney. It's got to match on the outside. First though, time for another workshop grab test. Make sure that I can actually move all this decoration. Come on, back into the workshop. That does seem to be the key, guys. Just gotta make sure that we don't get any closer than this edge right here to those rocks. Let's go into my Greeble decorations mod and see what I can find. Got mushrooms, all kinds of piping. Again, Greebles are the small decorations that make up the background stuff that you never even notice. But it's all stuff that helps to sell a scene. You guys can expect a lot of these props to show up in the final tour of this build. Thankfully, you guys won't have to deal with watching me do stuff like this and get distracted by placing a loudspeaker that Joel is not even going to notice. But hey, you guys saw it, right? You appreciate that. Pipes. I'm looking for a chimney of some kind, or something that I can resize to use as a chimney. Okay, smelting pot, tower. Let me go out here so I can see what I'm looking at here. Oh, that's huge. Pipes, pipes, pipes. Here we go, guys. Industrial pipe longest. Gonna just collide that right there. Let's lock that selection into place because this is gonna be a bit tricky to do. Okay. Let's turn collision off. Oh, where did that go? Okay. It's leaning just a bit. think we're getting close. Let's see if I can just nudge this into place, because moving it with the mouse seems to cause it to freak out quite a bit. Yes, look at that, guys. We got a smokestack, and it's even leaning just a bit like it would have if it had survived the war. I am going to center it just a bit there. And if there was some way for me to place a smoke particle effect coming out the top, you guys know I would totally do it. Speaking of which, if you guys know of a good particle effect mod, link me. Okay. That's how it's looking outside. I think we have room for another cabinet. Probably some kind of kitchen counter too, to go along with our sink. Maybe even this. We could do our sink in the corner. This cabinet right here, if it'll fit. My frame rate is complaining just a bit. There's so much more ahead. There we go. That cabinet goes into that corner quite nicely. And that can leave a section of kitchen counter for right there. So let's go back to furniture. Let's see, miscellaneous. I guess all of my modded weapon boards are kind of redundant now, aren't they? As are the display cases, now that we have official DLC for all that. Here we go. Homemaker kitchens and cabinets, or counters and cabinets. Is that a cabinet or an oven? I can't quite tell. It's basically what I was looking for, though. Yeah, all those vault pieces are a bit too new looking. I don't think the diner cabinet actually fits. So I'm just going to use a second one of those pieces and just rotate that around. Like it's kind of come loose from the wall just a bit. Okay, so we got room for 2 beds up here. Put this chair into the corner. Got our fireplace. Got our patchwork in place. Let's put some ammo containers over here. And a big old duffel bag. Go bag here in the corner. First aid kit, as well as a tool case. Definitely no room for a footlocker. Ha, here we go. This is the medical kit I was looking for. Do that one there. That one there. I definitely need a chair. to go along with this desk. Where's that old rolly wooden one? Perfect. Okay, we got our sink, we got our fireplace. One more cabinet for the wall over here. Oop. I want to rotate this one just a bit like that. So seeing this wall is repaired, it's like it was moved and then rehung. Not too much tilt though. General Dave would not approve. Okay. Electric light. I think just probably a single light for up here. And maybe one lamp as like a backup. And I'm not going to do the red light like in Far Harbor. This is not really a super dangerous area. So I'll just build that down here so I can actually place it, because up there is out of the workshop. And a lamp. These are all modded lights, but I think my DLC lights are back here somewhere. Oh, the oil lamps. Let me float out here because I can't actually place this walkway yet. I'll just float. One more lamp. The vault lights, well, that did not have what I was looking for. Wonder if my categories are a bit wonky again. Here we go. Here's some floor lamps. Oh, there's already a desk lamp right there. Well, in that case, would a light fit in well at the kitchen area is what I'm wondering. Yeah, I think it would. That definitely looks like a ranger's desk. That's pretty awesome. Well guys, I think we're done with all the furniture and the primary props. Because I have to place this all in one go and call it complete, I am going to do a complete decoration pass right now. Let's do the American flag in this corner. And just store that chair. What that means is I'm going to do the final decorations, so you guys should really see no big differences for the final tour for this part. I always go back and add quite a bit of detail to my builds, but because this has to be built and then placed out of the build area, I do kind of have to go and do it all at once. Okay. No paintings up here. It is a watchtower. But I'll put up a join or die poster. And my own mod should be in here somewhere. with my custom Minutemen posters. So that is what I'm looking for, are the posters. I'll put up the modded version of the Vault poster. It is redundant now that the DLC has added them as well. But because I've placed so many of those posters with the mod, I can't delete the mod, otherwise I would actually lose all the ones I've placed. Trying to remember if my posters are under the signs category. It's my Pleasure Island cap sign. There's a version of my Minutemen poster, not from my mod, but from my original castle build. That'll work. Not a lot of wall space, though. There we go. And that should do it for posters, guys. I don't want to go too crazy up here. Whoop. But I think that looks pretty good. I'll tilt that one just a bit. Let's also not forget doors, right? What kind of doors would a fire watchtower have? Probably just wooden, I'd imagine. And the whole thing is basically wood. I don't know if the plain ones actually look right, though. Red, maybe? I'm actually not sure here, guys. Tell you what, let's stick with the plain wooden doors. You guys tell me if I should do something different. Need a second opinion for that one. Looks okay for now. What about rugs? Maybe just a single rug. Some kind of like utility rug, maybe. Nothing really, you know, residential. Let's see. Oh, well, we do have doormats. That makes sense. And a rug for in front of the sink. Let's just turn snapping off and get that back there. Let's see. Got this red rug. I'm looking for something pretty worn, though. Oh, look, official Vault ones. Nice. Put the chair on top of that one. That helps to accent the fireplace. That's pretty cool. Oh! And looking at the end of the bed, I just remembered something. Under storage and containers, we do have room for a footlocker. I think that'll look really nice like that. Again, the light from the fire hitting it. Awesome. Oh. Good grief, guys. I'm going to be here all night. I forgot about shelving. We already have cabinets. That's good enough. Okay, doors are in place. Storage is done. What that leaves us with, guys, is miscellaneous props. Maybe just a bit of trash debris in one of the corners. Perhaps under a bed. There we go. Love that mod. It is a bit broken, you know, no thumbnails for what you're placing, but very helpful. Ashtray. Some candles for beside the bed. Just to add a little bit of extra light. Can I get this over just a tiny bit? Come on. Fit. Fine. I will place it manually. There we go. Empty clothing box. Just to take up some counter space there. Meds bin. I've got the first aid kits on the wall. That should do the trick for that. Lots of flowers here. I'll do one right in front of the window. Okay, I'm gonna move on from there and look at homemaker decorations for the interior. Gonna put a clock on the wall. Is that floating? That's gonna float. I'll move it to right there. Dispenser. I'm going to add a coffee machine, which I think makes a bit more sense. But I'm also going to hang some curtains in here, just because I think the Minutemen would have wanted to keep these, you know, nice big windows, but we'd also want a way to close them and keep the heat in if it got cold. So we'll have some reclaimed curtains from somewhere. Probably Sanctuary. Aha, the ham radio. Let's put this clothing box over here. There are going to be so many radios at this settlement, it's insane. But because this is the high point of the settlement, it makes sense to have it. Okay. That's all of the interior decorations as far as the homemaker mod goes. There we go. Now that I've completed my final can I actually move this stupid thing test, all that's left is to do a little bit of OC decorator work. Where are you? There you are. Personal effects. Sports and fitness. A fishing rod. Not a lot of room for games and stuff like that, but workshop tools, that makes sense. Components and parts. These already have so many decorations, these Northland Digger props, that I'm not going to bother with the workshop stuff. Instead, let's do kitchen and dining. Just so I can put someone's beer next to their bed. And a brew over here for this guy. Some fine whiskey hidden underneath the bed there, kind of. And an ice-cold Nuka-Cola. Let's just say one food item too. Well, I'm under beverages, so let's go to the actual food category. Something prepackaged. Which is kind of funny because this is a farm. There's the pie that I got in the Far Harbor playthrough. Yeah, here we go. Unit of cram there. And a cram there. And some apples for this guy to go with his beer. Okay, that's it for food. Personal effects. A bucket makes sense for ashes. Or, if you gotta go, you gotta go. Industrial grade cleaner for the sink. Give them one standard one too. And a little bit of soap for the sink. And I think I'm supposed to have some Far Harbor props in here, but I'm not quite sure where to look for them. I'll have to dig into that later. I hope I have some pillows, at least, because I feel like this could really use some pillows. These beds do not look super comfortable. An alarm clock. Is this the right area for pillows? Capitol building. Not quite the decoration for up here. There we go. These guys get straw pillows. Although this guy gets one pristine pillow to hide the stains. And you know what? A garden gnome. Okay guys, I think that is it. Got our mail station here with ammo in the corner and our American flag. Storage cabinet. Window with curtain. Little kitchenette area. I did not add a hot plate, but one could definitely go up here. I might come back and add one later. Our tilting cabinet. Bed number 1. Our workstations, our come and take it flag. Bed number 2. Storage. Personal effects. And of course the fireplace. Once I get this whole thing into place, I'll go ahead and finish that outer balcony. So let's go ahead and do that. And I think we're on the home stretch for our main watchtower, guys. which is one of the most difficult parts of this build, you know, besides creating the fake mountain, just because we have to build it outside of the buildable area. Definitely gonna make a save first though. Okay guys, here we go. Wish me luck. Alright, I've grabbed it. Now I'm climbing up here. This door with the lantern serves a secondary purpose because I wanted that to show the side that I wanted to aim towards the radio tower here. I'm seeing I've grabbed two other things that I'm going to have to go get. The graveyard station and the Brahmin tub. But I'm looking, rotating, that's all I see. Okay, that's fine. I get one shot at this placement. So let's put it a little higher, like you guys suggested. Somewhere, let's say here, and it looks like some of those objects are going to rotate on us. That's okay. Okay, let's just go for it. All right. That looks pretty cool, guys. And I'll be able to make the supports look quite convincing too. Oh, I see a bit of vault poking through. I have to fix that. I think I've covered the rest of the awkward spots. Question is, where did that stupid bathtub go? There it is. Let me just go get these before I forget that they're out there and they end up in the final tour. The Undertaker. And the other Brahmin tub, now that I can actually place things outside of the buildable area, is going to go up here. Oh, actually the Undertaker might look kind of cool up there. Yeah, that's cool. I think to finish this episode off, I'm gonna get up here and we're going to get our last few pieces of the barn in place. Now, you guys suggested that I not use the metal scaffolding, and I think you're right. I think the wooden stuff, like the barn, would look better. So as I work my way downhill towards where I can actually build, let's just place a bunch of these. I'll use a lot more of these pieces, perhaps these right here. Okay, is snapping on. Now it is. Snap. There you go. Had to let go of the piece for a second. By placing these down in the buildable area first, I can actually snap them, but as you guys can imagine, that would have been a huge pain to do for all the stuff that I just added up there to the workshop, or to the workshop, the tower. My goal is to come downhill quite quickly so I can go back to just placing things as normal. Yeah, stuff rotated just a tiny bit. Nothing that can't be fixed, though. A few of the wooden sections and whatnot. I'll fix those in a minute. Let's focus on the balcony. Okay, that snaps nicely, but I want it to go this way. I'll make it a part of the rock face right here. There we go. And that one can go down like that. Trying to make this look as convincing as possible. What is this, guys? Am I actually back in the buildable area? I am. It's a miracle. Okay. Let's move you aside. And again, I'll make this part of the rock face itself. Which way should this turn? If I make a shape like that, I'll spend a bit of resources just to toy with this idea for a second. From there, and then do that. That takes us all the way to the ground. And of course, I will not be leaving all this stuff floating. I'll be coming back through and adding supports for everything, but that's what the structure, I think, is going to look like, guys, for the scaffolding. Making this look like I've created a ranger settlement for this mountainside. I think I'm getting to the point where it's not really faking it, guys. This actually is a pretty cool outside area to show off.
The detective's life isn't an easy one.
I am liking how this is coming together. Which is good, because I've already placed it, and I really can't move the tower now. So what has to be done now, guys, is I'm going to be going through, adding the supports for underneath the watchtower. I'll be fixing these couple of objects that rotated oddly, getting them back where they're supposed to be aligned. And then with the watchtower supports in place and the last bit of railings too, I'll do all the supports for the scaffolding down the mountain. We're definitely out of time for this build episode, and I don't think I want to spend a bunch of recording time just putting in supports, but even though that's something that I can do on my own, not, you know, super interesting, I'll show you guys what at least, yeah, here we go, this part of the watchtower is going to look like. And this should actually snap. I also need to go get some more shipments of wood. Okay. Ooh, yeah, I like it kind of aimed out or angled out like that. Oh yeah, gotta place it down below. And bring it up. Well, I've managed to go and change up the angle that I was placing them at. But it kind of adds to the silhouette. Makes it look more interesting. Let's put this one over here though. Yep, needs some supports right there where it's floating. Especially if I swing it out like that. Which, I don't know, I think that might look cooler, guys, if they're all splayed out like that. Oh yeah, makes it look like an actual watchtower or some kind of harbor building. I'm gonna turn collision off for this one, so I can get out here and take a look. That one though, I'm gonna do like that. Make it look like, yeah, it was actually built to align with the cliff. Although that right there makes it look like it's leaning. This needs to snap in. There we go, just like that. This piece as well. There it is. So, we'll need some supports right there where it's clipping over the edge. Let's hop up here and look. Now that looks like it was actually there, guys, before the war. Which was exactly my intention. Gonna definitely have to fix that smokestack though. But yeah, I'm gonna call this a productive episode. Thank you guys as always for your input and your support. And I will see you guys on the next episode. Be sure to drop any suggestions or anything that I left floating in the comments, and I'll be sure to keep an eye on it. See you guys next time.